in general, skating is, you know, from my experience, there's a lot of queer people in it. It's like been in the Black community for years, centuries. No, not centuries, decades. There we go. You know, 1701, when you get your buddy
Yes.
and just go skate.
Today I had the absolute pleasure of interviewing my very good and dear friend, Sam. And they are going to be talking about their experiences roller skating as a non-binary queer person. I hope you enjoy. I came prepared with some questions in my iPad right here. Okay. So the title of this video is the skate community welcoming to non-binary roller skaters? This is the question. So I want to start by just introducing yourself, whatever you want to say. No pressure.
Sure. My name is Sam. I roller skate. I got this job because I needed a job and I didn't know how to skate. And then I learned, and now I'm no longer a roller skater job person. But that's how I learned. I use they, them pronouns. I am 22 years old. I just forgot that I was 22 years old.
I feel that struggle.
And I'm a full-time worker.
Yes to full-time. Yes to getting money and coin.
No to capitalism, but yes
True.
to money.
So you kind of said it already, you worked here, same, so throwback. But how did you actually get started in roller skating?
Yeah, so like I said, I needed a job, and a friend of mine worked here and put in a good word, so the boss hired me. And so when I started, when I was giving people their skates and all, it would take me like 5 whole minutes to go back and switch out someone's shoes for skates because I was so bad at it. But I was here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every day for multiple hours. So I really was forced to get better, but it was something that I very much enjoyed. It wasn't just like it wasn't a burden or whatever. It's very fun.
Yo, I think that's so cool, because not to be like, oh, samesies, but it was kind of similar for me when I started here, because when I started, I saw you and you were pretty good at skating and I was super beginner and I just learned on the job. I think that's kind of a cool way to learn.
It's listen,
you know,
I don't know what my learning style is exactly, but let me tell you, literally being thrust into it and having no other option, you get good at it.
Yeah, you're just forced to learn quickly. And you also already answered my other question.
No,
so
I'm so sorry. I was just
yeah,
prepped.
you're on a roll. I wanted to ask you though, as a member of the Rainbow Mafia, that I like to call it, or LGBT community, how do you identify?
I identify as queer and non-binary. It depends who I'm talking to. Sometimes I water it down. But overall, queer is definitely a thing. And I used to, when I was learning about stuff, I used a couple different pronouns, and my identity has changed since I first realized I wasn't cis. But overall, I purely use they, them pronouns, and I'm simply none of the above.
Yeah, so you know that you are not using she or he pronouns. You're using they, them, but that sort of is a journey that is changing.
Yeah.
So you're, it's such a hard thing, and it's, to a certain extent, I know I'm not going to understand because I am different gender, right? But I'm just curious, so when you say that you're sort of still thinking about it in your mind, are you thinking about changing your pronouns, or what did you mean by that?
No, just I think gender in general can be very fluid, and a lot of questions that cis people ask when they're trying to understand is, oh, well, can you explain it? And the answer is no, I cannot explain it. No, can you explain yours? Are you a woman because you enjoy flowers and I don't know.
I don't know, the color
I can't think of
pink?
any stereotypes.
Yo, screw stereotypes. I know, it's so hard, and a big part of me just wants to be just just explain. I want to understand. But like I said, there comes a certain point when I'm just gonna have to let go of that need to go deeper and deeper and deeper, because it doesn't really matter, right? As long as you're happy and you know yourself.
So I think I use they, them, and my gender is non-binary, just in the sense that I know that at my core, I'm not a woman, and I know that I'm not a man. Listen, I still do be getting, though, the feminine urge to, like, go nuts. I don't know. I understand a lot of, like, woman experiences, because I was socialized and raised as a woman. Yeah, it's just neither. I also, though, like, I understand some guy experiences, because depending on what social circle I go in, or especially when I worked multiple, like, different jobs, depending on, I don't know what it was depending on. Sometimes it was depending on, like, the weather, who knows. But strangers will pick either man or woman and, like, go with it. So I've been treated as both in things.
That's so interesting.
It's all right. When I'm treated as a guy from a lot of, like, cis guys, rubs me the wrong way. I remember I used to, like, be at, I used to be at undisclosed work. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll edit that out later. It's fine.
I used to be at redacted. If grown cis men, if specifically grown cis white men would see me and think that I was a cis guy, the way that they would talk to me was immediately like we were in this secret club and we were better than everyone else. And it's like, you're gross. I hate you. Stop.
No, I am not one of you.
I'm simply not one of them.
Very far from you. Far removed.
So, and mine, of course, I have a job. I don't want to get fired. I don't think they'd fire me. They already know me as one gender, and it's like, am I really gonna come out to all of you? If I, like, become friends with someone in a non-work environment, if it's not like an obligation, I will usually immediately be like, oh, by the way, I use they, them pronouns. I need to make money. I need to get hired.
You need to, unfortunately, make money. Yes.
And, not every stranger is gonna gender me correctly. So sometimes, like, when strangers will just, like, pick one and go with it, I'm not gonna correct it, because for me personally, it doesn't hurt me that much, as long as they respect me as a person.
When you talked about your other job, but when you started working here, did you already identify as non-binary?
Do you know what? No. I did in close circles. So, like, my closest friends knew, but I wasn't out to anyone. And actually, when my friend talked to their boss about me, they picked a different pronoun.
Of course, like, every car and train is going by right now. Eventually, I want to buy, like, a lapel mic.
Yeah.
To use. All right.
I'm trying to not get distracted. I get distracted very easily. I'm trying not to.
You and me both. And I'm pretty sure you're worse than me.
We're just gonna start talking about nonsense.
But hold on, because I didn't know that you weren't, like, out, or you didn't. That you weren't out when you started here. Like,
in my heart, I knew I wasn't cis, because I started working here after my first year of college. But yeah, I did not come out to. That was when I was, like, nervous, and it's like, oh, I don't know if people are gonna understand or hate me for it. To be fair, did I come out to like, when I applied to my current job, I also lied. I also was like, these are my pronouns, because I want to get hired.
Yeah. And, like, we're laughing about this, but damn, like, that kind of sucks that you had to lie.
A little bit. Which
very much sucks.
I know, depending on where people live, there are a lot of, like, TV shows and movies and books and whatever that have not enough, but that have representation, and I think a lot of people forget that it's not like that everywhere. I saw a video the other day about, like, guys, why are we still depicting, being gay on TV as if people are gonna, hate crime you? And it's like, have you ever been to Louisiana? I don't know, dude. What? It still exists. It very much exists outside of America. It still exists in America. And it's a completely right. I live in like a pretty privileged space. It's a completely different experience for like black and brown people. It's a completely different experience for non-white queer people, because usually I don't know, usually white queer people, when they talk about the queer experience, will talk about it, and they're talking about, so like when I talk about this is my white queer non-binary experience. This is not meant to encompass everything, because I'm sure it's very different for many people. It's so, is it the worst thing that could possibly be? No. I don't worry that I will get like, I don't worry about like physical hate crimes. I don't worry that I will like be attacked in the street, because that's not where I live. But I am worried that I won't get hired, because they'll see my pronouns and think no, or that they'll see like that I'm non-binary and not call me back for the interview. Is it ideal? No.
That's like, that is such a, I mean, I know what you mean when you say it's not the worst thing, but to me that's big, because I'll compare it to myself being, I don't know, I hate labels, but I guess I would say pansexual and a slew of other words. But when it comes to resumes and job interviews, there's no reason for that to come up, my sexuality, because I am in the queer community, but not because of my gender. But you are forced to put gender on every single thing ever, and it's just so wild that it can really affect someone's job, and you're forced to share it on literally every piece of paper that exists. Oh gosh. So I knew your pronouns because I asked you, because I just do that. But I'm curious if other people, especially here at the rink, if other people were like that, or they didn't really, it didn't really come up.
I don't think it occurred to anyone.
I'm kind of a rarity, maybe.
Yeah. I think when I worked at a different customer service job that was not on skates, and the people there were really cool. Like when I introduced myself, multiple people, two people asked my pronouns, and I thought, this is so exciting. And actually for that was a whole scenario. So we had some people a part of the family at my past job, but the people that then weren't or were older or whatever, I didn't bring it up to. No one really thought of it at the roller rink. None of the workers really did, because I think before you started working, it was a lot of like middle-aged-ish people. All of them were, though, most of them were very cool when I did come out. And there were a lot of customers. This is a lie. There were a lot of customers that either did ask me or didn't ask me and just automatically started using they, them about me. Regulars that would come, and I'd see that they have a pin maybe, or I'd see, I don't know, their jeans are rolled up. That's it. You just notice maybe they're holding hands with someone, and you're thinking, oh, okay, there's a possibility.
My people.
Maybe. So some regulars and I got to know each other, and I actually have asked regulars their pronouns before, because especially at the rink, you get all kinds of people, but you get a lot of like young teenagers and people who are not out yet, and people who are still experimenting and stuff. So I always try to be like gentle with them and say, when there was no one around, when there was no other ears, hey, by the way, what are your pronouns? Totally random.
That's so true. I definitely see a lot of, I've heard the term recently, baby queer. And I don't like to stereotype, but stereotypes, they come from somewhere, right? So I think there's no harm in just asking. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think like stereotypes obviously can be very harmful. They can be just like a little flag sometimes, like maybe if you see a specific thing, I think it's not terrible. And also like sometimes you can't stop yourself from thinking things. You can only think your second thought. It's like you're gonna think something based on your experiences and based on how you were raised and whatever. But then you have the second thought to be like, all right, is that an all right thought? Like, should I be thinking that? Let's work on that. And I think, you know, if you see someone do something little, if you see someone do the hand or do whatever, listen to certain music, and if your first thought is, oh, I wonder if they're, then I don't think that's terrible. Personally, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. I don't think that's awful. I think if you do stuff with that, then it can get wrong. So if you notice something and then you automatically, you know, like you don't ask and then you automatically treat them a certain way, even if that way is a good way, you have to ask, you have to like know.
Because you're making that assumption.
Yeah. So I think assumptions are not good. Assumptions are not always good, but you know, it's like what you do with it. But yeah, there's a lot of young people at rollers. It's also, I do want to point out, this is important, this is for fun. Tragically, it brings up TikTok. I remember
TikTok
when the pandemic happened, and there was that video of that person skating, and it became really popular. And a lot of white people were like, "Wow, this is so cool! What? When did we ever stop roller skating? Let's bring it back." It's always.
Oh no! Oh no! That is like, ugh. I hate that when people say that.
Yeah, everyone's suddenly out of the woodwork. Wow, this is so cool, and this is so, and it's like, no. This is always, all right. This never left the Black community. And again, a little bit important to mention, since I'm white, a lot of like stuff that we label as queer culture, we also took from Black culture.
Yes, period. For the people in the back. Okay.
Yeah, white people, we love stealing things. I'm sorry.
Give me my money right now. Give me all the
fair.
money. No, that's for another video. So you already talked a little bit about different ages and their sort of reactions, I guess, and how they interact with you.
Yes. There are some people.
So I'm wondering, would you agree with the statement that in general, hold on, I'll get to the question eventually, that in general, the younger crowd is more receptive to talking about pronouns than people who are, say, 50 plus, in your experience?
Yeah, it's hard, right? Yeah, it's rough because I have interacted with some very kind older people, but usually they have a bit of a squint, usually they have a bit of a disconnect. And again, I've interacted with some pretty strange young people, 20-something that they have no idea and they think it's crazy SJW.
Oh my gosh.
But usually, at least at the rink, and again, I think I'm a little biased just because I think I speak to younger people. But yeah, usually the younger people, younger people are usually the ones that are the ones that ask me my pronouns and that try not to look at people and assume things. Whereas the older crowd sometimes will just make an assumption, and it's all right. It's not terrible. But if you try to talk to them about it, they could be a little confused. I know.
That's okay. It's just
our boss was. I don't know if she was in this, or I don't know if she knew someone in this, but I know that there used to be when she did roller derby, there was this roller derby team. I forget what it was called, and it used to be an all women team, but one of the people actually ended up coming out as, I think, a trans man. I think he came out as a guy, and so they actually like switched it to all women actually this team is for everyone.
Wow. Huh.
So they
all right.
See that pretty good.
I don't know. Maybe this is also me stereotyping.
Yeah, terrible, isn't it?
But and I don't see it as a bad thing, but the thing that makes me almost want to do derby is I'm like, oh, I can meet queer people.
Yeah, right. No, you're right.
Maybe I'm wrong because I've never done it. But.
I I've never done it, but I think roller skating is a good way to. It's not gonna be all, but you're gonna get a lot.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a lot of stuff, and then you're gonna get freaky. You aren't gonna get freaks. You're gonna get
The freaks. We love the freaks, though.
Yeah, it was always funny coming like to my shift and knowing, oh, it's Friday night. Oh, the crowd's gonna be here.
Man.
I know who's coming.
So
tonight.
interesting. Yeah, the different nights would have different vibes.
Yeah.
I miss that, but not too much. I don't
Not
want to
enough.
work. I don't want to work here anymore.
Not enough for $8.
It's not $8. Oh my gosh. All right, I have like 2 more questions.
Nice. I'm ready. I'm
Are you ready? Okay. So, here's a big one.
Okay.
I can't take anything seriously.
I'm
So
serious right now. It's insane.
let me wait for this car to pass.
right.
All right, do your
I
thing.
don't know where they're going.
Do you feel overall that you are accepted in the skate community, and in an ideal world, what would be different?
The dream. Okay. Everything I say is biased because it's me.
Yeah, that's why I love this.
Right?
To you.
Not. Interesting. Ask a different question. No, just kidding. Okay. Not totally, but I think that's just because what I'm used to as a person in other things and everything else.
Wait, hold on, let's pause.
Yes and no. I'll make it complicated.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Because I don't know, the biggest skate community that I know, right, is this location where I live. I haven't been that many other places, and I've seen some stuff online. But here I was nervous because I worked here, and since I worked here, I have a partner, and when we became partners, we like never kissed within a mile radius of here, because people are weird.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it to become they're pretty unprofessional on the job. In general, skating is, from my experience, there's a lot of queer people in it. It's like been in the Black community for years. Centuries. No, not centuries. Decades. There we go. You know,
Same thing.
1701? When you get your buddy
Yes.
and just go skate? Decades.
He agrees.
It is for anyone that wants to skate, and everyone has been very kind for the most part. No, just in the sense of, as a non-binary person, I struggle sometimes to fit in anywhere, even in queer spaces, because there are still people that say, oh, well, trans men and women are valid, but non-binary people aren't real. Neo-pronouns aren't real. I don't use neo-pronouns. Neo-pronouns are real. I don't know who needs to hear this, but they are real, and you should respect them. So I think being non-binary in general makes it a little bit harder for. It's also something where I've considered being trans and going stealth trans. Like not telling people that I'm. If I was a trans guy and I, if I went on testosterone and I got top surgery and I did all that, I could be stealth trans. I could do it, and I would not have to tell anyone that I'm trans, and I could just use he, him. But I'm non-binary, so as soon as I meet people in my introduction, they automatically know that I'm trans. So it's a little bit hard.
Right, we are on my iPad now because
I'm just too talkative.
the storage situation is just not ideal. I need to get a camera. But anyway, moving on. Oh, were you going to say something?
No, in conclusion,
Yes.
I remember how to end in paragraph. In conclusion, I love skating. I am very, very overjoyed that I got the opportunity to like try skating, because I had nothing to do with it before I worked here. The skating community is a wonderful place. Just with everything, you have to be careful. You have to pay attention. But that's everything. That's just life. Don't make assumptions. It's important to recognize that while skating is a big part of queer culture right now, it was a part of Black culture first. We did take that. But other than that, it's a good time. It's good to try stuff out. There's no losses.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for answering my questions and hanging out outside of the rink. We were just skating in there, and Sam was nice enough to pop out here in the cold weather to answer
but look at my outfit.
my questions. Yeah, looking amazing as usual. So whenever I see you in there, and we're about to go back in there, I always see you doing some crazy stuff on the floor, and so I'm wondering, what is a move that you are working on right now?
Working on. So I don't know how to shuffle. I would like to learn how to shuffle. However, people, I don't, every time I ask someone, they give me the most vague thing ever. So
I know that's right.
It's hard to work on it when no one's teaching me. Something I'm working on myself. I don't know if this is an official move. I know how to shoot the duck. Where oh my god, my leg. Where you are skating and you go like this. I'm working on doing it backwards and standing up from it.
Okay, that sounds amazing. I think I've seen you do that a few times.
I sometimes, if someone is skating nearby me and they help me up, I can do it. But I'm trying to stand up on my own. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but I'm trying.
All right, you ready to go in there and try?
I guess.
Okay, let's do it.